Okay, so the conversation we wanted to have today was around social media. So we've talked a lot about being consistent on social media and the importance of that, but really wanted to chat around kind of the strategies that you're using to post on social media, what's working and what's not in terms of um, your posts, and then really wanted to harness in and focus on the concept of when to post for views and when to post for leads. So I guess we got Brooke and Brad that jumped on here too. So let's just do a pulse check. How many of you are posting feel like you're posting regularly and as much as you'd like on Facebook and Instagram? Oh, thanks.
So
Well,
those are two questions. I feel like I post regularly, but not as much as I like.
okay.
Same.
Same. Okay. So probably one of those areas where I think all of us, right, have it on our to-do list to get better at doing social media, to being more consistent, to producing more
Hmm.
content, um,
Hmm.
but maybe not doing it as much as we'd like.
I hardly ever post.
Okay. So Brooke just needs to come out of the bubble as a whole.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the concept of like posting, there's really two sort of concepts around that, right? You're posting for marketing and branding, and you're posting for leads. So there's two legs to that. And obviously, I think we all do a really good job of posting from a branding perspective, helping people get to know, like, and trust us when we do post. Um, but how do we convert what we're doing into like turning it into actual leads, actual conversations, is where we wanted the discussion to go today. Obviously, I think posting for branding is super important. People have to know you, they have to vibe with you, and really need to understand who you are and if they would want to work with you. So I think posting is really important. We've talked about posting, on your personal page and posting a lot of really personal heavy and then sprinkling business in. Um, but in terms of posting for views, it's really important to post for views before you post for leads. So you're priming the pump. I can't remember who, I think it was Kyle Whistle that said that, talks about priming the pump a lot. So you're putting in content that gets a lot of views, a lot of engagement, those kind of things before you put out the posts that are going to get you leads. These are just, a lot of times it's personal. I think everybody on here has kids. A lot of us have dogs for whatever reason. Kids and dogs get a lot of interaction. Those kind of things can be really important to post from a perspective of helping people understand what's important to you, but also to help get those views and that engagement in a way that will boost the algorithm. But then there's the lead generating posts or the posts. I guess I don't even want to necessarily call them lead generating posts, but the posts that generate DMs that cause people to interact with you. So those are the posts that we want to kind of focus in on today. And I think it'd be fun to kind of have some conversation around when do you find people reaching out to you and what types of posts are you finding that you're getting engagement on? So some things that I've found that work really well. Stories are really great to ask questions and do polls and get some engagement from that perspective because we've talked about this a bazillion times. They force the people right into your DMs when they comment on them. But I have found a lot of people engage when I do the coming soon type posts. We have to be super careful here in Iowa because we're not allowed to do anything that's coming soon. We don't have a coming soon status in our MLS. Like if we talk about something specific, we got to list it in 24 hours, but we can be vague. So I've done several lately where I'm just pulling up, not showing an address, not telling them where I'm at, just pulling up and being like, "Hey, going to or just finished a listing appointment. If you're in the market for 15 acres, within 35 minutes south of Des Moines, pond, hunting ground, reach out, those kind of things. So vague type things. So like Brad, I'm thinking of you and your audience of investors. When you talk to someone, even if you don't have it locked it down, and it could be someone that maybe would list with you if you brought them a buyer. I mean, those are great posts where you're vague enough that you're not giving specifics that are going to hone in and like rule out a whole bunch of people. You're being vague enough to tell them like, "Hey, I have something that I think could be of interest to you." giving them enough of a nugget to make them reach out, but not giving them getting so specific that you're like, yeah, 100 investors over here would be ruled out because you gave them too much information and only five will reach out, right? Like being broad enough that they'd reach out and ask you questions. Honestly, you reached out to me on a post that I made. My dad was looking at selling an investment property he had that was on 2 acres. And when I had posted about that, I got so many people that reached out and were just like, tell me more about this. Tell me more about this. Now, where I failed was I did not follow up with those people like I should have, right? I've got a whole bunch of investor clients now. I didn't have anything else for them. I'm not big in that realm. So then I just like it just fizzled away and the plans on that property changed. But like that's one idea just off the top of my head, Brad, where I'm like, you could generate a lot of leads just from your investment side of things. So if you guys have any listings that aren't necessarily locked up, but you know they're likely to come, I think those could be a great way to get some DMs going. Some other ones I've had too are just asking questions like, at what rate would you buy? What would cause you to move off the fence and go from thinking about buying to actually moving into the market? Just asking like generic questions. A lot of times you'll get one or two people that will respond to those too. And I think it depends on the end goal as well, right? Like, Matt's goals for how he wants to lead generate is going to look different than Ramil's and mine based on what our goals are and what type of business that we're trying to generate. I'm going to pause for a minute. Do you guys have any feedback or anything to contribute in terms of posts or any kind of content that you've put out that has generated DMs for you?
So mine, it depends on what I post. So before I had posted a lot of just like educational stuff, those types of videos, and they got like views, not a lot of engagement, but people like would like if they saw me in person, they would mention it, right?
Yep.
Like say, hey, like I liked your video, your videos are good, or I see your videos. But never like reaching out. And then recently, I've kind of done two shifts. So Matt had talked about on one of the calls, like doing the like filling the like trust bank, like doing like a bunch of trust before you do the ask. So I started posting things without like call to actions. That helped with like actual engagement on Facebook. And then really, really recently, like within the last, I'd say week, I started doing more personal stuff because I never like posted anything like personal, like about my family or like what we're doing, things like that. And that gets a ton of like reactions, people like actually on social media like reaching out and commenting, to me. So that's really the difference I've seen.
Yeah, and I think no matter which way we try to shake it, you're always going to get the best engagement on personal because people care more about you as a person than they do about your business. I think that's just inevitable. And it's kind of harnessing that and turning some of those conversations. Obviously, if you can have back and forth conversations, sometimes it can turn into something that can help you figure out like if someone is going to buy or sell. And sometimes it's just building that relationship and staying in front of them. I know because I think you posted something about the chaos of your kids yesterday, and I was like, oh, my enjoy it while you can. You'll miss it. It is quiet, right? Like I think it's just natural human nature to want to reach out from that perspective. Has anybody else had any luck with engagement or DMs off of like posts or content that they put out there?
When I was posting regularly, I like some of the stuff that I really felt like people seem to respond to is like if I just told them like, like interest rates and stuff like that, like they didn't seem to care. It was
Yeah.
more like if I broke down and said, you know, like this is how much house you can buy in this particular area, like in I would say, this is in this range of houses, like 350,000, and I'd show three houses. And I would break it down and I would say if you put 5% down, 10% or 20%, this would be your monthly payment on a house like this in this area. And I actually got a lot of people who would message me about stuff like that. So, and another, because I don't think like telling somebody this is what you can buy for $450,000 in an area, this doesn't really mean anything to them because if they don't know how much their monthly payment is and stuff, then it doesn't make any difference. I feel like them knowing how much the monthly payment would be based on current interest rates. And I would just pick like a variety of different areas in the St. Louis area because St. Louis is wildly different. Like 450 in one area is like vastly different than 450, even 15 minutes away. So, I did feel like people engaged in that a lot. And then also, if I like just did things that were just tips like around the house, like reminding people about, their like getting their HVAC system or something service and telling them why. And I'd be like, if I, I'd be like, this is who we used or whatever. Who do you know? And I would like say something about it, and people would they'd drop their recommendations for like an HVAC company.
Oh yeah,
And
that's a
yeah.
great way to get engagement too, is to ask a question. People love to help.
Yeah.
If you have a story behind it, right? If they can kind of tell like you're just trying to get them to interact with your post, it doesn't always feel as great. But if you have a story like, hey, I've got a buyer over here at a property that their furnace went out, we need to get someone out there fast. Who do you recommend? Like if there's a story behind it and they feel like they're actually helping someone, then I think that's a great way to get some engagement too.
I've gotten more active in my stories lately, and a few weeks ago, I posted something non-real estate related. I was asking for advice on my nails because I was doing them myself and having trouble. I had more people. I probably had 50 DMs that day. It was insane. But then I also noticed that the other things I posted in my stories that day that were business related got way more views and more engagement after that. And I was like, it wasn't even anything. I was like, my nails are falling off. Help me. I mean, it was just something simple, but kind of back to the priming the pump thing.
Yeah.
It was amazing when I just posted something like that, asking for advice or asking a question.
Yeah, I think again, it's just that human nature to want to help. And when they relate to you too, because like as girls, if we're talking about hair and nails, now if like Ramil or Brad start talking about hair and nails, they may not get the same response because their audience may look different than ours. Although I would venture to like I would love to see you guys try that and just test it out, see what happens. But I think yeah, just human nature from that perspective. Ramil, do you get a lot of response like when you do your school supply drive? Is it school supplies that you do or the what is it that you do for your school? Okay, when
Yeah.
you do that, do you get a lot of engagement and response on those?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
because I feel like it's something that obviously you lead with passion when you talk about it too. Like you're really passionate. It means something to you, so it means like other people want to tap into that. And then I think it's just something so many people can relate to because they either have kids, grandkids, nieces, nephews, whatever, where they feel
Yeah.
compelled.
Even if it's, I mean, there's usually like a good amount, more people than I usually expect, like actually like donate to those types of things. But even if like someone's not donating, like they always like take the time to just acknowledge, how good it is or things like that. So yeah, it usually
Yeah.
always sparks a lot of conversations.
Yeah, I think unfortunately there's two things that people tend to tap into. Unfortunately, we see it a lot, drama or scare fear type tactics, and then also just like that heartstring tug at your hearts kind of moment. So that makes a lot of sense.
I felt like I've also gotten a lot of response when I've kind of almost like reviewed a restaurant or something in the area. Because my husband and I were doing a thing where we'd go to a different restaurant every single month. And so I was like sharing the restaurant. But like I said, I got out of doing it. I wasn't like sharing my food and everything, like, I'm like sitting there eating it. Even though I think it's Brandon Blankenship does that. And actually, I mean, I don't know if you've ever checked him out, but he does this whole like living in Chicago suburbs thing. Has anybody seen this? I don't know. You got to check him out. I think it's Brandon Blankenship, and he's up in like the Chicago area. But yeah, he'll literally be like eating the food and everything. I would just take pictures of it, say something about the restaurant, and I'd get like a lot of people like messaging me about the restaurant and asking me like, like how much it costs and all this kind of stuff. I guess people
Yeah.
like food.
right? When it's relatable to them, and like obviously the people in your area are going to be interested and may pick up on something or chime in if they love a place too. That's great.
People seem to like when because I do my friends and I we go to a different restaurant every single month too, but we go by the alphabet, like we go with an A restaurant, a B, a C. Yeah, and every single time that I post the picture of my friends and I out to eat, I have like 100 something plus likes on it, and I get text messages about it and everything. So people must like you being out having fun.
I think so too. And then obviously if you're tagging people in it, that helps. If you're
Yeah.
always tagging people and they can tell it's like, I don't know what you'd call it, tag bait. I don't know, I made that up. But I think then sometimes that can turn people off. But I think if you're, you know, on occasion tagging people in things that are completely relevant to tag them in, I think it really taps into their audiences too. And that can be a great way to like share a message. It doesn't even seem like you're trying to share anything. You're just like, hey, they're in my picture and I'm pulling them in. Brad, have you noticed? I love that you are posting more. Have you noticed anything yet in your trends in that, like, you get maybe a little bit more engagement than others?
No, people always like um, the distress parts, and that's what when I go through properties and show them like the basements that are all messed up and um, all the old things in the house. And so I always get a lot of comments on that,
Yeah.
um, and then the stories. So, I think they're just dropping into your feed more, Michelle. I don't feel like
Yeah.
I'm doing any more than I had in the
Maybe you are just dropping into my feed more. Maybe it's because we
yeah,
connected more like, well, I don't know, around the time of EXPCon, right? Like we started
yeah,
hanging out and talking a little bit more. And I guess
yeah.
they're always listening. I don't know. I see you a lot
They
more.
are.
So you're showing up
That's
more.
good. I do more stories. I try to be more intentional about posting stories. I need to be more intentional about reels. So that's my thing. Let's be better at reels.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's really important to diversify with your reels, your posts, your stories, just because again, it's all different audiences, all different purposes. Um, Speaking of reels, Ramil, do you feel like you do a lot of like talking head reels? Do you feel like you get pretty good engagement on those?
Um, Not really. Those are the ones like I've probably done the most. And those are really like in person. Like literally people will not, some people will like it, but like as far as like actual like on social media stuff, like there's not a lot of like likes or shares or anything, but it like almost always like I'll hear about it like in person if someone, talks about it.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that's why I mean I continue to do it because I know people are seeing it and I guess they like it. But yeah, as far as like being pushed out,
Yeah.
some do really good and some, don't.
Yeah, I haven't figured out the rhythm yet. Like the talking head ones probably are the ones that do performed the worst for me in terms of views and things. So I was just genuinely curious, like what your experience was on that. I feel like the B-roll tend to get a little bit more, and then obviously, like if you can get crazy and just have a lot, I think that's my advantage is I talk with my hands, so there is already a lot of movement in my videos. But I think when you can have that movement in there too, and like have different scenes of things, those seem to do well too. It's just so much easier, right, to pull up a thing and go through your thought process of what you want to talk about real quick and get it out versus spending that. And part of it too is like time return from that perspective. But sounds like probably pretty similar then from that perspective of we know people are seeing them and we know they're important, but that's not our a good source of if you're expecting to like amp up engagement.
Yeah.
I think everybody has done bold because that might be how you know Matt. I'm not sure, but you know the section on bold where you are supposed to talk to all the businesses, and Matt probably would have more information about it because it's been a few years for me. But I really took it like seriously and connected with so many businesses. And at one point, I was just getting with those businesses and just talking to them and just doing like a little short video and everything. And they were getting tagged in the video, and then people were like liking it and stuff. And I don't know because it's been a few years. I don't know if that Facebook's algorithms and stuff would change the way that it would do things now. But I got so much engagement by just like talking to those businesses and stuff. I mean, I probably did like at least 28 or to 30 like videos with different businesses. Sometimes I'd even go out, like it was a roofer, and we have a lot of flat roofs in the city of St. Louis, and he was a flat roofer. And I literally went out there, and I mean, I was like, got up like on the roof and everything, like with him. And he was like showing me like how they do their roofs and stuff. And I just had somebody like take the video and everything. And, it was just with a cell phone, and people really liked it. Like a lot of people were like, I had no idea how they did those flat roofs and stuff. And it was very short. It was like maybe like a minute and a half, 2 minutes long by the time it was all the way done. So people seem to like that. And then there was another one that I was thinking of. I'll probably come back.
I feel like that would be a great, the business to business is great. And for anybody that's not listening to this on the, just listening to the replay, we do have like our lead gen launch that Matt and Audra and I did a while back that we can give you guys a link to, where Matt, one of the specific pillars that Matt talks about in there is business to business. And he addresses that just at a higher level of kind of how to tackle that. But I feel like that's probably one of the great ways that you could get introduced into YouTube. Like, as if you're going to interview other vendors or contractors, those kind of things, like have it be longer form video. So now you've got your YouTube content and then slice it down into chunks. And then you've got your reels and stories clips that you can put out on your other social media channels too. So that's probably a phenomenal idea. And maybe another way you can get like back into it, Brooke, without like having to put in a lot of effort. Having a 30-minute conversation with some vendors, and now you've got whatever 10 pieces of content because of that.
Yeah. And I do remember the other one. I feel like that I get a lot of engagement when I'm improving myself. And I see you posting stuff too. And I honestly like I just want to encourage you like to keep on doing that kind of stuff, like where you like post things that you're like improving yourself, not being like all braggy and showy and stuff. Just like I know that I posted one like I just challenged myself to, because I usually, as the weather starts getting colder, I start walking and or hiking and stuff less outside. So just I made a goal in the month of November that I would hike 75 miles during the month of, because like I said, it starts to get cold, and I actually like shattered it. And I didn't even post anything about it right after it happened. I actually didn't do anything, say anything about it until the first of the year. And I had like so many people messaging me and everything. And I know it's like just about like, oh, I love going on hikes. I'd like to go with you and stuff. It's just the fact that it's like was boosting how many people were. And I didn't do it for that. I just like, I just said, I was actually just trying to encourage other people.
Yeah. Yeah. I think if you want to get good engagement on that, do something weird, like jump on a trampoline or like
Yeah.
pick something like because it's out there, people pay attention to it and they're like, oh, what's that?
No, I love
Now,
that. I literally have one of those trampolines like right here behind me. This is my son's playroom behind me.
I love it.
And he loves it. He literally pushes it in the room, and it's because of you. I have that trampoline.
I love it. Well, and I think, I mean, the reality is you just have to be prepared. Like put yourself out there and put yourself out there authentically. You're going to get people that make fun of you or tease you or heckle you. They're going to get the people that cheer you on. I mean, no matter what we put out there, that's going to happen. So I primarily started posting those to embarrass my children. And it worked, but I get so many people like I'm known. I don't even really use my rebounder that much anymore. And that's like what everybody knows me as is the rebounder girl or the girl who jumps on her. Like, how's your trampoline? I'm like, oh, cool. So
That is so funny. I honestly, I, I even tell my kids this all the time. Like, you're not going to be everybody's cup of tea. Like, don't try to be. Just find the people who like you and focus on that. Because
yeah,
I mean, it's inevitable. Like, you're not gonna please everybody. Not everyone's gonna like you. It's just the way that it
yeah.
is.
Just be you. The people who are meant to be like, be your business partners are going to gravitate towards you. The right people will gravitate towards you. Yeah. Well, I love it. Well, we are at time here. I would love to see you guys all like post some stories and make a post today. You guys should use this platform too, as we're having our conversations. You can always take pictures of the screen too, and then just put do a post about how you level up, you mastermind, and you interact with other agents so that you can improve your skills or get more knowledge or however you want to put it out there. But like use all the things that you're doing. It can all be simple content. But just get out there, take the pictures, and do all the things. So, all right, friends, we will see you on Friday. Have a good rest of your week.